to give you guys, the audience, a visual as far as what we're talking about grips wise. So, Sizzle, I know when you were out of the pen when we played together, dude, you were just like fast slider change. I think you developed like a curveball, right? Like a early in the count fish type thing.
This past year, my curveball ended up being my best off-speed pitch.
All right, so just go through your pitches, man. Four seam, two seam, whatever you got. Like, kind of show the camera, and then just a little summary of what you're thinking about. That's too. That's too. That's too. Can you see this?
Yeah, four seam. So I'll show you this way. I put my fingers right on the actual leather, and then I use.
Oh, you're a crevice guy.
Huh?
Yeah, you do the same thing. I've never met another guy that does that.
Yeah, I do the crease on the laces because I want to feel when I throw a four seam. I want to feel.
Oh, so you're that side of the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite.
Like that.
Yeah.
See, I go.
That's how. That right there is how I throw. That's how we won't get ahead. That's how I throw my cutter.
Okay, so I have a little bit of cut to my four seam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does the Rapsodo say as far as your time, like when it gives you the dial?
106.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so 106.
Yeah.
A little bit of cut, not crazy cut. Something I can manage every once in a while, especially glove side. But for me, having those seams on that crease is big for me to pull, and I feel like that helps me with spin.
Totally.
I don't know if that creates spin rate or whatever.
I don't think anyone does.
No. I know mine fluctuated a little bit, but it's been more around like 2,300 for the most part, from what I know. Had some, spike stuff to 25. That's what I'm working on, this off season with pitch design is, developing the two seam, but how to create that four seam spin always. I don't want just like with velocity is everybody's like, oh, I want to throw harder. Well, for me with velocity, I wanted to bring my floor up.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about the peak. So that's kind of what I want to do with the spin of my four seam is bring the floor up. Don't want the 2200s anymore.
That's danger zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's like average. You don't want to be average when it comes to spin.
Yeah. So, that's just how I hold the four seam. Working on two seam right now. The grip we're working with right now, two of them. I'm really comfortable with just a straight up two seam grip.
Yeah.
And my middle finger is just on the inside of the seam. My pointer finger's on further inside of this seam.
Where's your thumb?
Thumb is right underneath, but kind of on the side. So on this seam, I want to feel
the
seam. And I kind of, obviously, what I've thought about is taking my pointer finger to my target.
Yeah. You want the pointer finger on the two seam, at least for me, to be the last one on the ball.
Yeah, because for me, I'm so middle finger dominant because of the slider.
Totally.
Like if I don't think that, it'll cut. I'll throw that big frisbee cutter two seam to my partner, and he'll be like, "What the heck was that?"
Dude,
the other two seam we're working on is a one seam. Actually, it's just climbing up the horseshoe.
All right, man.
We're just working on both of those. Same thing. Thumb, pretty much same spot. Climb up the horseshoe. Use one seam. What I found is the two seam has a more lateral movement, not as much vertical. Obviously the one seam's more like a true sinker, but what I found is glove side, I can't really make it do much with the one seam. I can make it sink a little bit, but with this one, I can make it move, but I'm not sure with glove side or arm side how much it's going to move. So that's what I'm toying with right now, and that's my biggest off-season project. Getting into the breaking balls, I'll go with the curveball first. I throw a spike. The horseshoe. I don't dig my nail in. I just take my finger pad and put it on the bottom of the horseshoe.
You got to keep your nails short.
Yeah, because I keep my nails short. So what I had a problem with is when I would tuck it or spike it.
Yeah, because a lot of guys will put the nail on top and then do that. Some guys will put the nail in.
Yeah, I used to put the nail in. I don't have big enough hands to put the nail on top.
Right.
It would just float out of my hand. Oh. So I started by putting the nail in, and I would rip the crap out of my finger.
Right.
And it just wasn't good.
Right.
So I started I just take my finger like that, and put it right on the seam.
Right.
And it's just a guide for me. And then I think, you know,
Do you know your analytics on that pitch?
um,
How hard? What's spin?
so it's around 77 to 80, somewhere around there.
Jeez, oh Pete, dude.
And the spin is like 2,900.
When'd you get that?
I threw a couple over 3,000 this year, like 31 to 32. It ended up being one of my better pitches.
What's your slider?
29 to 3,000.
You're an idiot.
But so for the curveball, what I think when I throw it is honestly like anywhere in the zone.
Yeah.
Catcher's head high.
Yeah.
And then if I didn't use it too much as an out pitch, I can. And when I did, I just lower the sights. And I just want it in the zone somewhere. Because what I found, and I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole last year, but I did find in the big leagues that it's like one of the least amount of pitches thrown and doesn't get hit very well.
Curveball.
Yeah. It's like
that's going to change.
Yeah, guys are starting to elevate.
We are in the 12-6 era now, I would say. We just got out of the two-seam era.
Elevated fastballs, 12-6.
Yep.
So that's what I thought about that. The slider, I throw an unconventional one. So, like I said, 4-seam. All I do is middle finger on that seam, like that, and then I just lay the pointer there.
Yeah.
And this is where I get real innovative with it. So that right there is just normal grip. Then I'll climb that for more side to side.
Yeah.
Like run it away type thing, almost cutter-ish.
You touching that seam with your thumb?
Tuck it to get more depth.
See, I do the same thing. Yeah.
Tuck sometimes, get more depth. So I play with it a lot, this grip.
I think the thumb, dude, like there's something to say about thumb on almost all your pitches because for me, I started noticing, dude, I became like pretty much like a two-seam guy this past year. And where I would place my thumb, I would get more horizontal movement. And I started
to notice with my two-seam.
Yeah, and I was starting to throw some.
That thing up,
yeah.
Boy, that thing will run. That's what I'm telling you. Like that's where I have the
problem.
I don't know how much it's gonna move.
Well, that's the thing is like you got to. It's hammering repetitions, man. Hammering repetitions on the Rapsodo, logging it. Yeah, logging it. Hey, this is where my thumb was here. This is where my thumb was here. Or even like having a different, mark on a ball. And this is something that I'm going to start doing when I start throwing again. Is like all black dotted balls will be like a specific thumb's placement, and then all blue will be where so I know in video when you see a freaking black dot, it's like, okay, that's when I had my thumb there or whatever. And I noticed that specifically like on my cutter slider hybrid is like when I'm throwing this thing like 92 on my thumb is literally like a 4-seam fastball. I'm just right under it and I'm just throwing it. And my arm doesn't go straight right after surgery. So I naturally have cut on my ball. Let's go, dude. So I don't have to do anything, man. Like if you read Mariano Rivera's book, like he just says, he presets and freaking lets it eat. And then if I want like a swing and a miss, I'll maybe change the angle and then drop the thumb and I'm getting I'm getting depth,
Yeah, that's almost sliderish, huh?
Oh, it'll go from like 90, 91 to like 83, 84 with this.
So yeah, my slider goes, 81 to 84, the big depth one, and then the side to side one I can get up to 87, 88.
Yeah.
And then the regular one is like 84 to 85.
And
with that, that's 10 miles an hour of differences on the same pitch, but they're doing something different. So, one guy goes to the dugout and says, "Hey, I saw 2 sliders. What were they doing? Hey, had a lot of side to side."
Dude,
comes up, depth.
Talking to hitters, man, like that's one thing they say, like a lot of a commonality is like, hey, what makes a pitcher so tough? And a lot of guys will say, man, like variations of a breaking ball. Because it's not like you can go up there and be like, hey, hard, soft, bender. It's like there's so much more to that report.
Yeah. So I play with my slider a lot, and that goes into reading hitters and knowing what they can hit, what they can't. So if I know a guy, especially a lefty for me with sliders, most lefties happy zones down and in. So I'll run the side-to-side one on their hands type thing. Or I'll do the big depth one back door. Yeah. Almost make it look like a curveball and then actually throw my curveball.
Now with righties, are you throwing it are you trying to get swing and misses at the hip?
I don't want you – if I throw it at your hip, I don't want you to swing it. I want you to take it.
Right.
So
why did I say that? What was I thinking right there? If I throw it at my hip. Because that's like I would say like that's a new age pitch, man. Is like the cutter front hip to a righty.
Dangerous.
Dude.
But if you can execute it, it's almost unhittable.
You can execute it.
For me, if you execute that front hip cutter, front hip slider, breaking ball, whatever you want to call it, front hip a guy righty with a breaking ball, it's dangerous because it can loop and it can gyro or whatever right in the middle of the zone. But if you hit it right, if you execute it right, they have to either be sitting on it to hit it.
Yeah.
They have to know the exact what you're trying to do. I'm trying to front hip a guy. I'm going to look in. I know it's going to break. That's what I feel like every time I've thrown a front hip breaking ball is. And I don't make a living out of doing that because, like I said, it's dangerous. But every time I've done it, it's either a take or it's an awful swing.
I think how much do you think, in your opinion, the count has to dictate that specific pitch? Because for me, dude, I'm not throwing that with 2 strikes. I think guys get too swing happy with 2 strikes, and that's when you start seeing like a very long swing and like catch a barrel.
Yeah, it catches barrel.
And that's just me. You could be totally wrong, or I could be wrong, and you'd be like, "Yo, I love it with 2 strikes after freaking a 2-seam down and away, like it's the, whatever."
I like the 2-strike one that I throw that has more depth if I'm going to front hip a guy, because if it doesn't do exactly perfect like front hip and it has depth, it's still down in the zone on the plate and moving down.
What's easier for you to throw it, glove side or arm side slider?
Glove side.
Easier, yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
I think mechanically,
my best fastball is my glove side fastball. Like arm side for me is not harder to throw. It's harder to get what you want out of the pitch more times than not. Like if you're trying to go in for a strike with a inside heater, for me, like say to a righty, there's a lot more places you can go in than you can to a lefty. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I feel like an inside fastball to a righty has to be executed for a strike like perfectly, because especially at the higher levels, like moving guys' feet almost isn't as pertinent as it used to be. Like guys are like, hey, if you come in here and it's not a strike, I'm not worried about it.
Because like no one cares. I feel like as hitters to be like brush back. It just doesn't matter because we demonize walks so much in today's society in baseball.
It's not a competitive pitch for me if you throw a fastball in on a guy and he has to like move out of the way.
Yeah. Whereas like before it was like, oh, that's a great 0-1.
Yeah. Now if you move a guy's feet with like a 2-seamer, like a lefty, that tells you a lot, especially if it's a strike.
Yeah, especially what he's looking for.
Same thing with a breaking ball. If you get a guy to move his feet because you like jerked him back or whatever, that's telling. But if you just airmail a fastball in there just to show him you got it, you didn't learn anything. And that guy didn't get threatened by anything. He's like, okay, he can't come in here because he's either afraid of hitting me or he's afraid I'm going to crush it. So that wasn't even close to a strike.
Takes it away.
Yeah, so he takes away and now he's crushing everything you throw away.
What's your changeup?
Yeah. Changeup, Vulcan grip. Throwing it for forever. I preset it just like that. So I do a few things like I do with my slider. I keep the same grip no matter what with these 2 main fingers.
Yeah.
So I don't change that. The only thing I change are where these fingers and this thumb go. So if it's like a normal just 0-0 changeup or 2-0 changeup trying to get back in the count, it's going to be kind of like that. Now, like if I want to put a guy away, I'm going to move the thumb up like we talked about on that seam, get a little more run, and I'm going to move these fingers underneath to get them out of the way.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I can do the same thing with that, move the fingers up, and if I tuck the thumb, it's going to act more like a splitter.
Yeah.
So I do a few things with that. Like so,
you're not pronating or anything. You're not turning it over. You're just throwing it.
Not trying to think that. I'm trying to think, keep it heavy. Like I want to feel the ball to be heavy on this side of my hand with these 2 fingers. Like I want it to feel like the ball is only on that. So that's why I take this finger out.
Yeah.
The picture.
Strasburg talks about that, man. He says get the index finger. Strasburg.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
says
that was
like
really good.
as much as I can get the finger off the ball, the more that I can differentiate the
Yeah,
speed.
I either rest it right underneath that finger, or I just rest it down here, like where I don't even feel it on the ball.
Yeah.
And I feel I want my middle finger to do all the work with the pull, and then these last two fingers be that's where it's heavy. Like that's the last two things that come off the ball, but like they're really just there for guidance.
Now,
This thing right wants to do all the work.
have hitters told you that that looks like a totally different look compared to all your other pitches? Because that's kind of what I've gotten on the feedback with like my split, is that it's just totally like it doesn't look anything like any of your pitches.
Um, yes, I've heard that, and then I adjusted it. So what I did was I used to hold it really, really deep, so it came out and tumbled.
Right.
Now they hold it like on these two knuckles right here. I don't get it all the way into that web,
Yeah.
and so now it gets like a true spin.
I did the same thing with my split. Is I think I before I was like a fork ball, I'd get deep, and then I just literally put it to the outside of those two seams.
So the spin I usually get on this is like this. So when it comes out of my hand, it almost kind of comes out like that,
Ah, I
like
see.
a sideways four-seamer.
You guys have Edgertronic cameras there?
We do not have them. We're ordering cameras. We've already ordered them. So we haven't set them up yet.
That's gonna be amazing.
Our roof just caved in. So yeah, we had 14 inches of snow here, and the snow sat on one spot of the roof and went. So we put things that we've ordered on hold until we can fix the roof.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, just because we try to get that situated for all the people that come into the facility, and then we're not starting like pitch design. Well, we've started some pitch design. We are not starting the full thing until we touch the mound. I don't touch the mound until after the new year. Well, I mean like full pins and stuff.
Right.
I don't touch that until after the new year, so that's when all that stuff will be here.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be good. Like,
and you're at Baseball Rebellion, right? In what town in North Carolina?
it's in Durham, right next to Duke.
He hit the bowl. Gets a free steak.
It's free steak. Guy hit it like he knew it was coming.
All right, dude. Well, hey, thanks for we're pushing our time limit here, so thanks for coming on, man, and being the first guest of Inside the Baseball Mind. I appreciate you, dude. I'll sign you off the air. Should we pound it?
Yeah, I found it.
All right, see ya.